Hi, Veli from Greenwood Academy. In this training session today, we're going to look at putting together a construction management plan specifically for large solar systems in Australia. And before we get started, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to Greenwood Academy and to this particular YouTube channel. Let's get stuck into it. So we're going to look at the purpose of a construction management plan, and the scope is going to be a commercial on-roof and ground mount system. Now, a CMP is a single source of truth for how the build will run. It sets expectations, allocates responsibilities, and ties compliance to day-to-day operations. We're going to cover both roof mount and on-ground commercial solar systems, and you'll be able to see where they actually overlap. Expect practical checklists, example KPIs, and a clear flow from concept to handover. Now, we'll have some actual construction management plans available for anyone who subscribes to Greenwood Academy and some checklists that we use in our projects. So if you want those, subscribe to Greenwood Academy. Let's get back to the presentation. The agenda. CMP sections from project overview to closeout, future trends and next steps. We're going to start with context and step through each CMP section in order and then finish with forward-looking trends and concrete next steps, including access to Greenwood CMP templates. Now, what is a construction management plan? Effectively, it's a roadmap for build delivery and compliance. It defines roles, responsibilities and timelines, and it aligns safety, quality, environment and cost controls. Think of the CMP as an operational contract with yourself, and if it's not in the plan, it's probably not going to happen. It turns policy and standards into site actions and records that withstand audits. Project overview. You're looking at project objectives and success criteria, location, scale and delivery model, key dates, notice to proceed, mobilisation, energisation and practical completion. The construction management plan is a fairly complex document. You have to document the business drivers and what success looks like, performance ratio, practical completion rate, O&M handover quality. Includes site access details and delivery model, EPC, principal contractor or subcontracted trades. Stakeholder analysis. Owner, principal contractor, EPC and subcontractors, network, distributor, local council, regulator, landlord, roles, RACI, and escalation pathways. Now, clear roles prevent gaps. Use a RACI matrix so each deliverable has only one person accountable. Map escalation paths for safety, design changes and program slippage. We are now going to be talking about the regulatory environment, specifically in Australia, but the concepts I'm presenting will be applicable to anywhere around the world. You have to look at the Clean Energy Council guidelines and SAA accreditation. You'll have to look at national construction codes and local planning rules, electrical safety regulations, jurisdictional, and the relevant Australian standards. Your CMP should cite the exact clauses you must meet, then show how site procedures satisfy them. You've got to include evidence requirements, licenses, certificates of electrical safety, and commissioning records. Site assessment. You'll have to look at irradiance and shading analysis, roof structure integrity, geotech for ground mount, access, craneage and traffic management constraints, existing electric infrastructure and export limits. Record assumptions with photos, scans and calculations. For ground mount includes soil classification, wind region and foundation design approach. For rooftops, of course, verify all the fixings with a structural engineer. Design phase. System sizing and performance modelling, equipment selection and layout optimisation, earthing, protection, labelling and commissioning philosophy. Design decisions must trace back to assessment, capture inverter clipping assumptions, DC-AC ratios, stringing, cable routes, and safe work design elements like walkways and anchors. So now we'll be talking procurement strategy. You have to put together approved vendor lists and technical specifications, long lead items and logistic plans, warranty, spares, Q&A documentation. Define minimum technical specs, factory QA and FAT, which is a factory acceptance test, and SAT, site acceptance test requirements. Lock in delivery windows and storage conditions to avoid damage or delays. Construction phase overview. You have to be looking at things like program with milestones and gates, look-ahead planning and resource leveling, and interface management with live sites. Use rolling look-aheads to sequence trades, isolate work areas, and maintain business continuity on live facilities. Capture hold points, structural sign-off before panel install. Pre-energization checks before commissioning. Health and safety, absolutely incredibly important. You're talking about JSEAs and SWIMs and other workplace practices. You must have those documented and it must be part of your CMP. So SWIMs, JSEAs and permit to work systems, working at heights, electrical isolation, lifting plans, inductions, toolbox talks and incident reporting. Safety is non-negotiable, and that is a given on all construction sites, whether they're solar or not. Your CMP should integrate WHS obligations into daily routines, induction records, supervision ratios, rescue plans, and evidence of isolations and testing. Quality insurance. Inspections and test plans, ITPs and checklists. Materials, traceability and as-built records. Defect management and closeout criteria. Define acceptance criteria up front. Always use photographic evidence on every ITP step. Batch records for cables and modules and a punch list with owners and due dates. Environmental impact. There can be an incredible amount of environmental impact on these sites, especially when you're looking at ground mount solar. So it's incredibly important to have that documented. Waste minimisation and recycling, packaging, end of life, noise, dust and runoff controls, flora, fauna and cultural heritage protections, very important. You've got to minimise your footprint by staging deliveries, reusing packaging where possible and separating waste streams. Include spill kits, erosion controls and monitoring logs. Community engagement. And what we're talking about here is stakeholder communication plans. Site signage and complaints register, working hours and disruption management all have to be taken into consideration. A proactive communication plan reduces friction, and one of the best ways to reduce friction is to make sure there's a single point of contact for any complaints from the stakeholders. Workforce management. This has to be outlined also in your CMP. You have to look at the labour plan, competencies and supervision, training, licensing and accreditation records, fatigue management and wellbeing. Capture CEC SAA accreditation, high-risk work licenses and any other licensing that's required for the particular site or project in question. Plan rosters to avoid fatigue, especially during commissioning sprints. Very important. Project management tools. Schedule, cost and risk software. Digital QA forms and photo evidence. Dashboards for progress and KPIs. Use a common data environments. So drawings, requests for information, inspection and test plan, and red lines live together. Dashboards can really help leaders to make informed decisions at every step of the way for the project. Risk management. Risk register with owners and treatments, quantified schedule and cost contingencies, change control and variance tracking. Identify technical program and commercial risks, assign owners, review weekly and tie treatments to milestones. Use change control to prevent scope creep. Scope creep can become an issue when the projects become larger and larger, and it's something to be really aware of, that you keep scope creep in check. Budget and cost management. Cost breakdown structure, materials, labour, preliminaries, cash flow and earned value tracking, contingency, drawdown rules. Always make costs visible. Track commitments versus actuals and measure earned value so variances surface early. Protect contingency with approved thresholds. Internal and external channels, meeting cadences and reporting, requests for information, non-conformance reporting, and design change workflows. Document who meets, when they meet, what's discussed, and how decisions are recorded. Standardise RFI and change logs to avoid confusion. A good CMP always includes a maintenance and monitoring schedule and what's involved. Performance monitoring and alerting, planned maintenance schedules, warranty, spares, and service levels. Define data ownership and response service level agreements. This is a really important point. Provide a preventative maintenance schedule aligned to OEM guidance and keep critical spares on site or in rapid reach. Performance evaluation. This is where we're talking about KPIs, PR, availability, specific yield, alarm, and mean time to repair. Safety and quality metrics, financial KPIs tied to the business case. Always choose KPIs you can actually measure. It sounds like I'm stating the bleeding obvious, but it's a common problem when putting together construction management plans. Link energy KPIs to revenue or savings and track safety and quality alongside output. Document and handover. As-built, test results and certificates, O&M manuals and training records, defects, liabilities, and handover pack index. Handover is not just a dump of documents, it's a curated pack. Include an index, verify completeness, and run training sessions for operations staff if applicable. Project closeout and lessons learned. Close permits, contracts, and financials. Post-implementation review. Capture lessons and feedback to templates. Formally close the project and run a structured retrospective back into the CMP checklist with the aim of continuous improvement. Greenwood CMP templates. Purpose-built CMPs for on-roof commercial systems. Purpose-built CMPs for ground-mount commercial systems. And you can see on the slide here, I have a pre-construction checklist, one of the ones that we use. Now, these checklists are available to anyone who subscribes to Greenwood Academy. So if you want to see our checklist that we use and you want to see our actual CMPs we use for ground mount and roof mount solar and BESS systems, subscribe to Greenwood Academy, like, comment on this video so we can continue to do what we're doing for free. Future trends in construction management. Digital twins and AI-assisted Q&A. Battery integration and flexible export. Circularity, reuse and recycling of PV components. Expect more digital assurance. Tighter grid integration and stronger circularity requirements. Design and CMPs will evolve to reflect these realities. We'll be making available Greenwood CMP templates tailored to both on-roof and ground-mount projects, including checklists, ITPs, and example registers you can adopt immediately. Just subscribe to Greenwood Academy and we'll send these templates out to you ASAP. And best of luck on your new project. See you later.